I want to show you guys something that I've been filming recently. It's some plant motion. And most of the time when people think about motion in plants, pretty much just think of Venus flytraps, right? That's what everybody sort of thinks of. Maybe sundews, carnivorous plants, basically. But I have been experimenting with a plant lately and trying to get some footage of this. And it is a plant that plants itself. It's a seed. The seed is the part that moves. And it does some pretty ingenious stuff with very, very minimal machinery. I just think it's super, super cool. It's this little tuft of bunch grass, really unassuming looking plant, but it makes these seeds that have this long sort of tail on them. And the tail's the part that moves, and basically they sort of wriggle and embed themselves into the leaf litter around them. Because basically you need to just sort of get under the leaf litter in order to be planted as a wild seed most of the time. Most of the time, that's what most wild seeds are trying to do. If you're on top of the leaf litter, you risk drying out. You risk not being able to get your taproot down to the soil if you do happen to germinate up there. You risk being eaten by a bird or something like that. So they're trying to get under that leaf litter where it stays relatively damp, much cooler, and protected from things like birds. Now, there's obviously things underneath the leaf litter that could eat them as well. But generally, you're in a good spot if you get under the leaf litter. So these plants, the seeds actively move underneath the leaf litter. They land on top of the leaf litter or duff or whatever's there, and squirm their way underneath it. It's very, very cool. It's super interesting to watch. I got some time-lapse footage of it, but yeah, I basically collected a bunch of these seeds, put them on top of some, they're dark colored, so I put them on top of some like light colored leaf matter that I found in the forest, basically sun bleached beech leaves, and just sort of crunch those up a little bit, put them down there, dump the seeds on top. And the way these seeds move is they have two different structures in this like spike that sticks off of them called an awn. And wheat has these awns. A bunch of other plants, grasses mostly, have these things called awns, and it's just a long tail sticking off of the seed. But these plants, the seeds have like a two-colored awn. So there's a long black colored part of it, and then sort of twisting and spiraling around that is this light gray, light brown structure. And the light brown, light gray, and the black portions of the awn react and expand differently depending on the amount of moisture around, or the amount of moisture contacting them. And so the one of them will contract or expand more so than the other in response to getting damp or drying out. And that causes the tail to twist around, or the awn, which looks kind of like a tail, to twist around and expand. Like it's kind of bent in sort of a 90-degree thing, and that'll twist around and expand to become more straight as they absorb more moisture. And then as they dry, they do the other thing. They sort of twist back and curl back up. The other thing is, at the tip of the seed, they have this ring of hairs that sort of points backwards, almost like the barbs on an arrowhead or the barbs on a fish hook. So they can poke in to the leaf litter, and it's much more difficult to pull them back out because they kind of hook and lock in to wherever they've been pushed. Super beautiful, super cool structure. It's so elegant. It is such an elegant solution. It's just, you make sort of a two-part long hair-like structure, and you make one side of it you respond differently to moisture than the other side of it. You attach that to your seed, and it wiggles its way into the leaf litter. So I did 3 rounds of this. I did 3 time lapses where I put some of that light colored leaf litter down and put the seeds on top of it, spritz it with water, watch the time lapse. They sort of wiggle down. Then I let it dry out. They actually kind of wiggle down further while drying out as well. And then I did it again. So 3 cycles of that. And by the end, you can't see any of the seeds from above. They've all wriggled their way down into the leaf litter and planted themselves. It's just absolutely amazing. Anyway, I think it's super cool. Hope you enjoy. Alright, so that's been 3 rounds, and keep in mind that those 3 rounds could be rain events in the wild, or they could be the morning dew. So this could be as little as 3 days, and they could have buried themselves in this leaf litter, which they have, for the most part, successfully done. I'm very surprised by the results here. This is kind of nuts. I see one right there that's still very much on the surface. There's another one right there, but it looks like it was actually in the process of making progress. It's right next to one, though, that has completely perforated a leaf. It just poked right through a leaf and went straight down to the ground. There's another one right there that's kind of on the surface. Yeah, next to that, there's a couple that they've made it under one leaf, but they're still partially exposed. But overall, I mean, I don't know. Actually, look, there's another one right there that's perforated a leaf. There's another one right there that's perforated a leaf. In several places, they've just poked right through leaves. Wow, that one right there actually poked through that curled up leaf right there. Man, that's crazy. Yeah, so I probably had, I don't know, somewhere between 30 and 40 seeds in here. And a small handful of them are still visible on the surface. That's pretty good. I mean, that's like, there's another one that's poked through a leaf right there. That's impressive. That's like, people are impressed by like Venus flytraps and the movement of plants. And that's the main one that they think about. But this is impressive. All right, so just about everything, it's all dried out now, and just about everything has managed to bury itself. So I'm going to do one more round of this. I know I've said that before, but let's simulate one more rain event or dew event. and do a time lapse.